During this video, I'm going to show you how you can make changes to PLGs using the iOS app. This video will include how you can make changes such as adding new headings, adding new outcomes, as well as editing existing items. I'll also submit these changes for review. So to get started, we're going to log into the assessment area by tapping on the pencil and pad icon bottom right. You'll then enter in your unique username and password and tap continue. And then to make changes to PLGs, we'll tap Manage PLGs top right. You'll then be on the Manage PLG screen. If you're an assessment manager, you can tap Show All PLGs bottom right. You can also see I've placed our PLGs into various folders, and there are guides in the EFL resources on how to create and manage folders for PLGs. I'm going to click on the plus to the left of the badges class to expand that. And then I'm going to edit this PLG for Kian. So to edit a PLG, you click the pencil icon to the right of the PLG that you want to edit. You can then click on Edit PLG Framework Items towards the top right. So you'll then be on the Edit PLG Framework screen. And this is a screen where you can make various changes to the framework. We're first of all going to look at adding a new heading to the bottom of the section of the PLG. So I scroll down to the very bottom, and to add a whole new section and a main clickable heading, I can tap on Add a New Section. I can then name the new heading, and then tap Save top right. You can see a new heading has been added, and now to keep the same format as the section above, I want to add in the long-term target from the E8CP. So I highlight the item above where I want to add a new item. So I tap on New Heading. And then I tap the plus to add a new item to the framework. I've now entered in the long-term target from the E8CP. And I don't want to capture evidence against this. So I untick Enable Evidence Capture. And then I'm going to tap Save top right. So we can see I've added in the long-term target from the E8CP. And again, following the example above it, we're then going to add some shorter term outcomes below this item. So I highlight the item where I want to add items below, and again tap the plus icon at the top. I can now enter in the new outcome. And once I have entered in the outcome, I will this time leave Enable Evidence Capture ticked because I do want to be able to link evidence to this outcome. So then I tap Save top right. And you can now see that the new outcome has been added. I do also want to show you a quick way where you can add a number of new outcomes at once if you'd like to. So if you want to add a number of outcomes at once, you tap on the item above where you want to add the new items and press the plus icon towards the top right. So I've now added a number of new outcomes, ensuring that each new item is on its own line. And again, I do want to link evidence to these outcomes, so I leave Enable Evidence Capture ticked and then press Save top right. And you can see we've added a number of new outcomes at once. There may be other occasions where you want to add new outcomes within existing sections, such as within physical and sensory. To do that, you click on the item above where you'd like to add the new item, and then press the plus icon towards the top. Again, you enter in the new outcome. Again, I'm leaving Enable Evidence Capture ticked, and then pressing Save top right. You can see that it's added the new outcome, but it thinks it's a step towards or a mini target to the item above it. If that's correct, you'd leave it formatted in that way. If it's not, and it's the same level as the item above it, then you'd just click on the item and then use the left arrow to move the item to the left. So you can use the left and right arrows to change how an item is indented and therefore the structure of items within your framework. There may be times as you're editing or creating a PLG that you'd like to duplicate the wording of an item. So what you could do is click on the item to duplicate it, and it becomes highlighted. And then you press the photocopier icon, 2 papers on top of each other towards the top. And as you can see, you get a duplicated item of the actual text. The evidence and assessments that's linked against the outcome isn't duplicated to the new outcome, but the text is. As you're editing a PLG, you may also decide that you need to delete an outcome that you've just added. So you'd click on the item that you want to delete, and you'd press the delete icon at the top right. You would then confirm that you want to delete it, and the item is deleted. It is worth pointing out that you won't be able to delete an outcome if it currently has evidence linked to it. To move items within a framework, you click on the item that you'd like to move, so it becomes highlighted, and then you can tap and hold the 3 lines on the right to be able to pick up the item and then move the item to where you'd want to place it, and then you release to place the item. There may be occasions where you want to move whole sections within the framework. You would do this one at a time. So again, you'd highlight the new heading if I wanted to move this section. I could then use the lines on the right hand side, the handle, to pick it up, to move it above physical and sensory, and then repeat the same process with new outcome 1, new outcome 2. So you can just literally tap and hold the 3 lines on the right hand side and pick the item up and then place it to where you'd want it to go. So I put that up there too. And then again, this by the end of key stage 2 can just slide into there. At any point, you can tap save, so you'll be able to return to continue to make the changes at a later point. When you have completed making all the changes to the PLG, you then can tap submit for review, bottom right. When you've entered the reason for change, you simply tap submit for review, top right. To confirm that you want to submit it for review, you tap review. You'll then be on the Proposed tab, and you can see all the changes that you've made to the PLG will be highlighted in red. You can also tap to see the current version, or tap to see the reason for change. And if you're an assessment user, you would then click back, and you'd wait for the assessment manager to approve the changes. If you're an assessment manager, you're able to submit your own changes and approve them straight away by simply tapping approve, bottom right. An assessment manager just then confirms that they want to approve the changes by tapping yes. So we've now made changes to the PLG, submitted it for review, and approved those changes. Any device that already had that PLG framework on will be updated as people use evidence for learning. If for any reason you notice the framework hasn't been updated, you simply just click on the cog at the top left on that particular device, and you just simply tap refresh top right, and the device in question would be updated with any changes, including the changes that you've made to the PLG. So hopefully that gives you a clear idea on how you can update your PLGs at your school. There are other guides and resources available within EFL Resources, and particularly about how to make other changes to PLGs, such as changing ownership, changing permissions, or changing or adding the schema used to assess outcomes within the PLG. Please do look at the guide within EFL Resources, but also always feel free to get in touch with us at any point. So you can email us using services@theteachercloud.net or call us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.